Welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Breed, where we explore the world's most fascinating and rare dog breeds. Today, we have a very special guest, Tenzin Wei, an expert breeder of Tibetan Mastiffs from Tibet. He has spent decades preserving this ancient and symbolic breed, working tirelessly to ensure its legacy remains intact. Welcome, Tenzin. Tenzin, thank you for joining us. Let's start with the basics. What makes the Tibetan Mastiff such a unique and special breed?
Thank you, James. The Tibetan Mastiff is more than just a dog. It is a symbol of strength, protection, and nobility in Tibetan culture. This breed has existed for thousands of years, guarding monasteries, villages, and nomadic camps in the Himalayas. Their immense size, thick double coat, and fearless nature make them perfectly suited for high-altitude life.
There are many myths about Tibetan Mastiffs being the size of lions. Could you clarify the different types of Tibetan Mastiffs and their actual size?
Yes, the stories about giant Tibetan Mastiffs are often exaggerated, but there are indeed different varieties. The two main types are 1. The Do-ki, the more natural-sized working Tibetan Mastiff, typically weighing 45 to 70 kilograms. They are strong, agile, and excellent guardians for nomadic families. 2. The Chang-ki, a larger, more lion-like variation bred by monks and nobility. They can weigh up to 90 kilograms with an imposing mane and a more massive frame. While some breeders in China have selectively bred extreme sizes for commercial reasons, the true Tibetan Mastiff remains a working dog at heart.
How challenging is it to preserve the authenticity of this breed, given the rising demand for the large, exotic-looking dogs?
It is very challenging. In the early 21st century, Tibetan Mastiffs became a status symbol in China, with some dogs selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, this led to unethical breeding practices, loss of genetic purity, and even abandonment when trends faded. To preserve the breed, responsible breeders like me focus on maintaining strong bloodlines, avoiding overbreeding, and educating people about the real Tibetan Mastiff, not just the exaggerated versions seen in viral videos.
Many people are fascinated by the Tibetan Mastiff's imposing presence, but what is their true temperament like?
They are incredibly loyal but very independent. Tibetan Mastiffs were bred to make their own decisions in guarding livestock, so they are not like a German Shepherd or a Labrador that follows every command. With their family, they are gentle and affectionate, but with strangers, they can be reserved and highly protective. They need an experienced owner who understands their independent spirit.
Would you recommend a Tibetan Mastiff as a pet for an average family?
For most people, probably not. They require a lot of space, a strong and confident owner, and proper socialization from an early age. They are not a breed for city life or small apartments. However, in a rural home with enough space, they can be wonderful companions and protectors.
Their thick coat is one of their defining features. How much grooming do they need?
Surprisingly, not as much as people think. Their coat is self-cleaning and doesn't have a strong dog odor. However, during shedding season, usually once a year, they will lose a massive amount of fur, so daily brushing is essential then. Otherwise, a good brushing once a week is enough.
Some people assume Tibetan Mastiffs are just for show, but are they still capable guard dogs?
Absolutely. Their instincts are still intact. Even today, Tibetan nomads rely on them to guard livestock against wolves and snow leopards. They do not need training to be protective. It's in their nature. However, proper socialization is key to ensuring they are not overly aggressive.
Tenzin, you have dedicated your life to this breed. What challenges do you face as a breeder in preserving the Tibetan Mastiff's heritage?
One of the biggest struggles is fighting against overbreeding and commercialization. Some breeders prioritize profit over the dog's health, leading to genetic issues. Also, there is a risk of the breed losing its true purpose as a working guardian. That's why I work with ethical breeders and organizations to promote responsible ownership.
What do you think the future holds for the Tibetan Mastiff?
If we continue to breed responsibly and educate potential owners, I believe the Tibetan Mastiff will remain a respected and powerful breed. But we must also ensure that people understand they are not just luxury pets. They are guardians of an ancient legacy.
Tenzin, this has been an incredible conversation. For anyone interested in learning more or supporting ethical breeding, where can they find more information?
There are great organizations and breeders worldwide dedicated to preserving the Tibetan Mastiff. I always encourage people to research carefully before buying a puppy and to connect with reputable breeders.
Tenzin, before we wrap up, what message would you like to leave our listeners about the Tibetan Mastiff and its significance in your culture?
It has been an honor to share the story of the Tibetan Mastiff with you today. This breed is not just a guardian of homes, but a living symbol of our history and culture. Preserving these magnificent dogs is not just my work, it is my passion. I hope more people come to appreciate their strength, loyalty, and deep connection to the Tibetan way of life.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Beyond the Breed. A huge thank you to Tenzin Wei for sharing his expertise on the legendary Tibetan Mastiff. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep exploring the world of incredible dog breeds.